It's one thing to pay $199 for the dream of skipping lines at Universal Orlando, but it's another to find a second price leap on the very next screen. While families imagine stress-free access, the reality is a gold lanyard surcharge, dynamic daily price hikes, and a two-tier system where unlimited costs nearly as much as park admission itself. Why does this promise of instant fun feel suspiciously engineered to leave people juggling passes and regretting their spend? This is the story of the Express Pass. Its hidden algorithms, psychological traps, and whether skipping lines really just means falling into a more expensive one. A family stands at the Universal ticket counter, eyes fixed on a glowing board where the Express Unlimited price blinks at $199 per person per day. That's not admission. That's just for the privilege of skipping lines. The number sits there, bold and unblinking, daring you to do the math. For a group of 4, the total rockets to $796 before anyone has even stepped through the gate. The father's hand hovers over his wallet. The mother glances at her phone, and the kids stare longingly at the rides in the distance. Around their necks, the coveted gold lanyard dangles like a backstage pass at a rock concert. Except here, it's less about access and more about status. The price isn't hidden in the fine print or whispered by a clerk. It's broadcast in neon, anchoring every decision that follows. Some guests wear their lanyards with the quiet confidence of first-class travelers, drifting past the standby crowd with a practiced nod. Others, stuck behind the velvet rope of price, watch the procession with a mix of envy and disbelief. The park has drawn a line in the asphalt: those who pay and those who wait. At $199 a head, the Express Pass isn't just a ticket, it's a declaration of budget. A golden badge that separates the vacationers from the VIPs. On a steamy Saturday in July, the Express Pass price board flickers again. Yesterday's $199 is now $329, and that's just for one person. The algorithm behind the numbers is a trade secret, but the results are right there in public. As crowd forecasts tick up, so does the bill. The digital display doesn't bother with explanations, just a new total every morning, sometimes every hour, each one higher than the last. For a family of 4, the math leaps from uncomfortable to absurd. Today's total, $1,316, and that's before anyone buys a soda. There's no warning, no pattern, just a sense that the park's pricing engine is watching the same crowd you are, ready to pounce at the first sign of demand. The only advice from the ticket agent: buy early, hope for a slow day, and don't expect a refund. The fine print says prices are subject to change based on date and availability. In reality, the only constant is unpredictability. Families clutch their phones, refreshing the price page, trying to outsmart a system designed to keep them guessing. The Express Pass has become a moving target, one that's always just out of reach for anyone hoping to plan ahead. A father stands at the entrance to Jurassic World Velocicoaster, clutching 4 Express Passes like golden tickets. The family breezes through the first checkpoint, but on their second lap, a red light flashes on the scanner. The attendant shakes her head. The standard Express Pass, it turns out, is a one-time checklist. Scan once, and your privilege evaporates. For another $150 per person, the unlimited version unlocks repeat rides. But that upgrade stings like a hidden resort fee. The software behind the pass tracks every scan, logging each attraction in a digital ledger. Once you've used your single skip, the pass quietly locks you out, no matter how many times you wave it. The difference isn't obvious at the ticket window, where both passes promise to whisk you past the crowds. The only real distinction is buried in the fine print and the moment of denial at the scanner. Most guests don't realize the limitation until it's too late. The standard pass is engineered to leave you wanting more, nudging you toward the pricier unlimited option with every rejected scan. It's a clever form of loss aversion. The fear of missing out on another ride becomes a reason to spend even more. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as designed. The gates to Hogsmeade swing open, and a wave of families surges toward the newest crown jewel, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. The Express Unlimited lanyards bounce against chests, a silent promise of freedom from the masses. But the promise stops cold at the entrance. A small sign, almost apologetic, reads, "Express Pass not accepted." The line for Hagrid's snakes out of the village, past the pumpkin patch, and curls into a 3-hour wait. The digital board blinks. 180 minutes. The family that just spent over $1,000 on unlimited access finds themselves side by side with everyone else. No shortcut, no magic, just a wall of humanity and the Florida sun. The fine print on the back of the lanyard lists exclusions in font so small it might as well be written in Parseltongue. Hagrid's is right at the top, a flagship ride that doesn't play by the Express rules. The reason is simple and infuriating. If Express were allowed, the line would break the system, ballooning to impossible lengths for both regular and premium guests. So the ride stays off limits, a cruel twist for anyone who thought unlimited meant what it said. Inside the queue, the mood shifts from anticipation to disbelief. Parents scroll through the Universal app, searching for loopholes that don't exist. Every minute spent in the Hagrid's line is a reminder that the gold lanyard is not a skeleton key, but a very expensive suggestion. The emotional gut punch arrives not with a denial at the scanner, but with the slow realization that the most expensive pass in the park can't buy you into the ride everyone wants most. At the entrance to Jurassic Park, a mother stands in front of the Pteranodon Flyer sign, squinting at a cartoon dinosaur and a chart marked 51 inches, 115 centimeters. Her son is just tall enough. She is not. The rules are spelled out in cheerful font. Adults may not ride unless accompanied by a child who fits under the height bar. For families with 2 parents and 1 eligible child, the math does not add up. One parent stays behind, holding a $250 Express Unlimited pass that is little more than a souvenir at this gate. The exclusion is not hidden. It is right there on the Express Pass list, buried between asterisks and footnotes. Pteranodon Flyers not included. The ride is famous for its slow-moving line, often stretching past an hour, even on quiet days. With only a dozen seats in the air at a time, capacity is a cruel joke. Unlike the high-octane coasters, this is a family ride, gentle enough for kids, but off-limits for most adults. Express Pass holders, having paid a premium for frictionless fun, discover the system's sharpest edge. Access is determined not by what you spent, but by how tall your child is. The mother watches as her son boards with a stranger, waving from above while she waits below. Express lanyard useless. The promise of skipping the line evaporates into a lesson in fine print. For every parent who thought the pass would unlock the park, Pteranodon Flyers is a reminder that some barriers cannot be bought away, no matter how much you paid at the gate. The line for Revenge of the Mummy barely crawls forward, snaking past bored teenagers, sunburned parents, and the slow drip of time. Every few minutes, a group with bright yellow lanyards glides past the barrier, barely breaking stride. Their shortcut isn't just a convenience, it's a spectacle. The rest of the crowd watches, and the effect is immediate. Phones come out, app stores open, and the Express Pass page gets a sudden spike in traffic. On peak days, Universal's own sales data shows a 20% jump in same-day Express purchases, all triggered by the sight of others skipping the line. The design is pure behavioral economics. The Express and standby queues run side by side, forcing everyone to witness the bypass in real time. It's not just about saving time, it's about being seen saving time. The lanyard isn't a ticket, it's a billboard. The longer the wait, the more valuable the shortcut appears. And as envy builds, so does Universal's bottom line. In this park, the fear of missing out is just another line item on the revenue report. A mother stands at the entrance to the amazing adventures of Spider-Man, juggling 4 plastic lanyards, a stack of paper tickets, and a phone with the Universal app open. The scanner chirps, but the barcode won't read through the plastic sleeve. She pulls the pass out, the line behind her growing impatient, and tries again. Still nothing. The attendant shrugs, pointing to a sign. Lost or unreadable passes are non-replaceable, non-refundable, no exceptions. The sun beats down, making phone screens nearly invisible, and the app's QR code refuses to cooperate. The family's so-called fast track has become a slow-motion obstacle course. Every ride means a new round of pocket checks, lanyard untangling, and barcode gymnastics. If a pass slips out on a coaster or gets left at a snack stand, that's a $100 mistake with no fix. The promise of seamless fun dissolves into a series of tiny, maddening frictions. By noon, convenience feels like a myth, and the only thing moving fast is the stress level. A family checks into the Hard Rock Hotel and receives a room key that quietly doubles as an unlimited express pass. No upcharge, no fine print, just a built-in perk for booking a premium suite. Down at the concierge desk, the explanation is almost casual. Every guest in the room, regardless of age, walks into the park with front-of-line access. The same privilege that costs off-site families over $1,200 for a single day is bundled into the nightly rate, tucked between the pillow mints and the pool towels. For guests staying at Portofino Bay or Royal Pacific, the story is the same. The key card is a golden ticket, bypassing the chaos at the ticket booths entirely. Meanwhile, families who booked a budget motel across International Drive line up at dawn, while it's open, only to discover that their entire vacation budget barely covers the express surcharge. The hotel perk isn't a secret, but it isn't exactly advertised at the ticket counter, either. Universal's system quietly rewards those who play the resort game and leaves everyone else paying retail, turning the concept of a fair queue into a corporate shell game. A family stands at the edge of the Jurassic Park Lagoon, clutching their gold lanyards and a receipt that reads $1,200. The promise was simple: pay more, wait less. But as the day unfolds, the numbers begin to tell a different story. The express line for Velocicoaster saves them 73 minutes compared to standby, at least according to the app. For Revenge of the Mummy, the advertised savings is 62 minutes, but the family still spends nearly 10 minutes weaving through the express corridor before boarding. On Men in Black, the difference shrinks to just over half an hour. By mid-afternoon, they tally up the minutes on a phone calculator. 45 saved here, 30 there, maybe 15 on Spider-Man. The grand total? Just under 120 minutes shaved off a full day of waiting. The math isn't subtle. At $1,200 for 4 unlimited passes, the family has spent $10 for every minute saved. That's $600 per hour, more than a private tour guide, less than a helicopter ride, but still a staggering premium for the privilege of skipping a handful of lines. The Express Pass promises an 80% reduction in wait times, but the actual savings depend on the day, the crowd, and the luck of the draw. On slow days, the express line can stretch almost as long as standby, and the time saved shrinks to a rounding error. On peak days, the gap widens, but only if you're willing to sprint from one headline ride to the next with military efficiency. The data, quietly scraped by ride tracking apps, reveals the real exchange rate. On a typical Saturday, Express saves the average guest about 60 minutes across 10 rides. That's a $20 bill for every minute you're not standing in the sun. For some, that's the price of happiness. For others, it's the moment the gold lanyard starts to feel suspiciously heavy. A group of teenagers darts toward the entrance of Men in Black. Alien attack, skipping the gold lanyard ritual entirely. Instead, they split up, each joining the single rider line, a path so unassuming it barely warrants a sign. While express pass holders queue in a hallway decorated with movie props, the single rider line moves with the quiet efficiency of a backstage crew. On a crowded Saturday, the posted standby wait blares 40 minutes. Express promises to shave that down to 6 minutes. But the single rider line clocks in at barely 5 minutes. No upcharge, no barcode, just a willingness to ride with strangers and maybe miss out on a group photo. Across the park, the pattern repeats. On Revenge of the Mummy, express guests flash their passes and still wait 8 minutes. Single rider shaves it to 6 minutes. The difference isn't dramatic until you remember one group paid $320 for the privilege and the other paid $0 at all. Thrill Data's 2025 logs show single rider outpacing express on Men in Black in 30% of samples, sometimes cutting total wait by a third. For guests savvy enough to trade family selfies for speed, the math is brutal. $0 for a 12-minute wait versus $200 for 8 minutes. The Express Pass, sold as the ultimate shortcut, suddenly looks more like a premium for togetherness than efficiency. Universal never advertises this loophole. There's no mention of single rider in the Express Pass fine print. No push notification when the free line is moving faster. The system relies on most guests sticking together, paying extra for the privilege. But for those willing to split up, the park's best-kept secret is hiding in plain sight. The irony is hard to miss. Sometimes, the fastest way through Universal's labyrinth isn't the gold lanyard at all. It's the willingness to let go of the group selfie and walk alone. In 2026, skipping the line costs more than most theme park tickets and still leaves guests standing behind fine print. As dynamic pricing grows and exclusions expand, the gap between the informed and the uninitiated widens. Orlando's real magic trick is turning impatience into profit. The next time you see a price surge, remember, the queue isn't always the biggest barrier. Share your park hacks or regrets in the comments below.